Crafting has been around for ages, but there's this new word that's been buzzing around the past year or so, sublimation. And we're gonna do sublimation on something a little bit different. This time we're doing leather, and we're gonna play with my new sublimation coloring book.
I'm Erin Reed Makes, and join me while we play with all things crafty and creative by making projects, going to fun crafty events, and just all things creative. Welcome to my channel.
So what I have here is I have real leather coasters. Yes, they are actually real leather, and they are perfect for sublimation. You can get these at any of your big box stores. I'm gonna have all the links down below. I'm gonna show you 3 different techniques. 1 is using my coloring book. 2, sublimation print from a sublimation printer. And 3, we're gonna use a stencil.
Before we start sublimating, let's talk about my new coloring book. I'm so excited about this one. I've teamed up with Artesprix to come up with a sublimation coloring book, and all the images are already faced the right way. So these black images here will sublimate along with any color that you color on top of this. So all the words are already reversed, getting ready to put onto your sublimation prints. The first page, and it's exactly the same as the second page, is florals with inspiring words. Strong, brave, and beautiful, and then they are repeated. For the second set of images, again, you have 2 pages of this, are these floral butterflies. Look at that in frame. Floral butterflies, and again, they have the brave, strong, and beautiful words on them. Then we have a page of just some really beautiful florals. You have 2 pages of this, so you can cut out your images, you can do partial images, you can have a ton of fun with that. Just to kind of show you, I did this on a bookmark and it looks super cute. We then have 2 pages of both larger butterflies and florals together, kind of nesting within each other. And again, we have some inspiring words. If you're not sure what the words say, this one says choose happiness, be happy, be the change, and stay strong. And that's what they say on here. And then we have our last butterflies, and these say again, be happy, be yourself, choose happiness, stay strong, dream big, and be the change. So
now that I picked out my image I'm gonna do, I need to color. Now this is the key thing. You can't just use any old marker. You have to use specific sublimation markers. These markers are amazing. They come from Artesprix and they're made for sublimation. So just make sure that you're not using just any old random marker. Sublimation markers for the win. And don't get disillusioned if you're coloring with a specific color like pink and it looks a little bit different. The colors change when they get heated. So don't pay attention to the color that's coming out of the marker. Pay attention to the color that is on the tip of the marker. That's the color it's gonna be. Same principle as when you paint a porcelain object and then you put it into the fire, the colors are muted and they are gonna get darker as they sublimate. So don't freak out, that's what it's supposed to do. So now I've got my image done. I'm gonna let this rest and let's go and sublimate it. Now I love my tiny heat press. I love my tiny heat press, and I will use this as much as possible because it's nice and small and super tiny and perfect. But if the project that I'm trying to sublimate is larger than the mini heat press, I default to my larger one. So that's what I have right here, my nice big guy. I don't get to use my little one. 2 sides to the leather. There's the back side, it feels like not as smooth, it's not glossy, and there's the front side, it's a little glossy. We're gonna sublimate the front side. We're gonna actually do it this way, and we're gonna make sure this is lined up just the way we want to. 2 pieces of tape is totally fine. If you really want to go crazy and tape the sucker up, have fun, but you don't have to. First sheet goes on the bottom. We then place our blank, and then 1 sheet goes on top. The sublimation sandwich, or the sublimation taco, or the sublimation hamburger, however you want to call it. The protective paper is your bun or your bread, and then inside you have your blank and your paper. Paper is the highest part to your sublimation image. Now I've already set this to be the temperature and the time that I want it to be, so between like 380 to 400, about 30 seconds, I have found to be just perfect for the leather. So you lift it up. We want to go about medium pressure. I'm just going to put this in the middle and move this guy over. We're going to go down and I push the button. Ta-da! Now, you don't really want to just walk away from a heat press. You want to put a little bit of pressure on here. You want to have something that kind of holds it down a little bit, but I don't need to be like leaning on it. And we're about 8 seconds away. So that was where you do the to see we're ready. When it beeps at me, I know I'm good. I'm gonna push my little button that says, thank you for letting me know. Lift this up, and I'm gonna put it back into like its little heat mat thing here. Now we're gonna do a little sneaky peeky test. That's what this little tool's for. So I'm gonna come into the corner, and I'm just gonna do a little sneaky peek to see the transfer. And there it is, you see it? It's right there. All right. There's lots of different gloves out there. Because I'm not dealing with a metal or anything, I feel like these ones are totally fine. And there is another one. Aha, I found it. Have you noticed that this space is, this is my workspace. I figure what's the point of trying to make everything look pristine and perfect for you, because this is probably what your workspace looks like too. You know, we're being real today. And then here's the big reveal, you ready? Here we go. There it is. Well, I did a sneaky peek. You didn't hear the bad words. This is why you do sneak peeks, and unfortunately I sneak peeked down here. I didn't check up in this corner. This is what happens when you don't do even pressure, and I was talking and I was not doing the let's add pressure everywhere, and I held my hand away, and now I gotta recolor this bad boy because it did that. I recolored my image. Let's try round 2. And you know what? This happens. Not every time I've sublimated, and I've sublimated for years, you make mistakes. It happens. Don't get down on yourself. I'm not going to get down on myself. You just try again. And I'm going to do even pressure all the way around. It does have a little handle at the top, but I sometimes find that if you put your hands on either side, especially when you're getting those funky images, this helps solve that problem. All right, it beeped. Let's lift up. And this time I'm gonna check all the spaces. All right, here we go. So we're gonna do a quickie test here. That's looking pretty good. We're gonna look over here. That's looking pretty good. I'm checking all the corners here. Yep. And then here again too. Okay, there's a couple spots I feel like are not quite there, especially in this little corner. I don't know if you guys can see that. I feel like it just didn't press long enough, so that's why you keep it taped and you don't move it. I'm gonna go a little bit longer. And then here we go, the big reveal. There it is, I love it. Because this is leather, it already has a color. It's not white. You're not gonna get as brilliant of colors, but it's still pretty cool that you can sublimate on leather. So this is with the coloring page. There's always a question, well, it looks like there's a ton of ink still left on here. Can I use this again? The answer is you could, but you'd get like a faded, more faded image because a lot of the ink has already transferred over. So just kind of keep that in mind. Another question I get, or might get, is can I just take any coloring page, color it in with the special markers, and then sublimate? No, this is made with special printer ink that is made for sublimation on a page that allows you to color. So this came directly from the company Artesprix. It's made for this, so you can't just take any coloring page out there or print it from whatever printer and then color on it. You have to have like the specific stuff. Our next technique to sublimate on leather is using a stencil. Now you can't just use a stencil with all of your own stuff. I mean, you can paint it, you can have all kinds of fun, but we're sublimating, remember? So we're gonna use a stencil with some sublimation ink. Is you just need plain old copy paper. There's no special paper needed. There's nothing like intricately needed for any of this stuff. All you need to do is have copy paper, your stencil, your ink, and there's one last thing. Where did I put it? It is somewhere, I swear. Found it. Blending brushes. Now keep in mind, these blending brushes I keep completely separate than the ones that are behind me, which I use for my regular inking, for like card making and for all kinds of stuff. These ones are only being used with the sublimation ink, so don't integrate them. The inks are different. Just so I keep a separate stash. And these little blending brushes are super easy and super cheap that you can find just about anywhere. And as a heads up, all links are going to be down below. All right, so round 1 of that video turned out to be a huge blurry mess. So we're going to reshoot this, and so here are now round 2. We have our stencil, we have our copy paper. I picked out some fun colors of ink. I've got violet, blue, rose, and green. And if you notice, for each one of my sublimation inks, and these inks are specifically made for sublimation, there is also a corresponding stencil brush that goes with the colors. This one, I didn't have a purple stencil brush, that's why I put the purple washi tape at the bottom, but that is my purple brush. So we're gonna grab the leather coaster, and we're gonna place this down in a really high-tech piece of equipment here, which is a pencil. And we're just gonna trace. So this is to tell me that, hey, when I'm stenciling on the paper, I know that this is where the coaster is going to be. I want to go outside of this border. I don't want to go inside of it. So I take my stencil. That's why I had washi tape down here. We're going to washi tape it down. As you can tell, it still has the color from the last run. Stupid blurry photos. Life happens. Now we're going to just add color. So I'm kind of going to go through and do the same route that I did before. As you can tell, I put a little bit of green in the center. So I'm rubbing the ink on my stencil brush, basically transferring the ink from here to my brush and then going in and applying the brush to the paper. I'm doing a circular motion. And then when I'm done, place it down, go to the next color, and I'm going to go a little bit here, go off the page. The lighter it is, the lighter it's going to sublimate. The darker and the more ink I put on here, the darker it's going to be on your sublimation prints or on your final project. So if you want to have really rich colors, go really heavy with the ink. I'm going with lighter colors. I want it nice and pale, just subtle, just a little something something here. Here's the blue.
I'm gonna come in with blue here. I am still putting my hand down so it doesn't wiggle around on me. Here's the big reveal. Oh, see, look at that, turned out great. Even though the stencil was going kind of wonky, it didn't have a problem. And if you notice, I'm outside of my pencil line all the way around, so we're gonna get a nice, good printed image. Now, time to heat press. Same as before, even pressure, full 30 seconds, 385 to 400, and let's go. We're gonna test it. Whoops. Ooh, it's good. Now, I didn't do a ton of ink because I went very light. This is gonna be a very faded look, but you'll see what I mean here in a minute. All right, look at that. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. It was a very faded look, so that's the kind of look I was getting. If I wanted this to be more pronounced and even have more color, then I would need to add more ink to this. But I went kind of light. It was just a hint of some color.
Now this last one is the easiest technique of them all to sublimate on leather, and that is a sublimation print. Now I have a special sublimation printer. It only has sublimation ink, and I only use it with sublimation paper. There's tons of videos out there about how to sublimate and how to convert. I have an eco tank where I've converted it by using the Hippo ink and the Hippo paper. Works fantastic. Just make sure when you're printing, you print us the highest quality possible, that we get really, really nice deep colors in there. If you just do a quick print, you're not gonna have as deep of an image or deep of colors. It's not going to be as true to what you think it's going to be. This file, however, is absolutely free to you. Go on my website, erinreedmakes.com. The link is down in the information section, and you can get this exact same print as me, and therefore you can make these same coasters, or you can sublimate onto whatever you like. So grab that freebie and you can sublimate away. Time to heat set.
So here is our coaster, and we pretty much only want to cut out the amount that we need. Now, I made this because these coasters come as 4s. I'm just showing you techniques in this video, but you could make 4 coasters with this print. So what I'm going to do is I'm basically just going to cut out this image right here. There we go. And right here. And then now I've got 3 others left ready to go. And then this now fits in here, no problem.
This part's the same, the pressing, the getting it all ready. It's just a matter of what technique you're using to get the sublimation print ready. So we did coloring, we did ink blending, and then we did the printer. Whatever you'd like to do, do. Just realize that leather also can be sublimated. And I forgot to put the start button on. Oops. And the magic beep. I'm having a hard time deciding which between the 3 of these I like better. Do I like the coloring? Of course I like the coloring, it's my coloring book. Do I like the printed image with all the swirls? Or do I like the ink blending? I think it just depends on what I feel like doing that day. Do I feel like coloring? Do I feel like playing with digital images? Or do I feel like doing some stenciling with ink blending? They all work great and they're all tons of fun. Don't forget, all the supply links are down below, and have an amazing day. Bye everybody.